I can't wait.
Yeah, looking at it, opening runs right now, we've got the red team, Na'Vi. They've brought an E50s, Bad Chats, looks like 3 of them, T100s, and UDES, and oh, I missed one.
The Panzerwagen 12, I think? No, 7. It's a new German, let's just say
the new 7, yeah. Yeah, okay, that I missed it, sorry. It's we'll have to find one, and we'll show you when we see it, but he'll come up eventually. On the other side, Tornado, our blue team for this series, has brought a Mouse, 2 113s, an S-Tank, Bat Chats, and an Object 416. But right now, we've got opening fire from Na'Vi. Is that not quite blind?
No.
Nuclear.
This is the counterplay coming out from Na'Vi. They send left shy into the bushes forward, rest of the team behind. Like, we're going to see a lot of this between these two teams.
Yeah, and they screened him out by providing the cover fire so no one can worry about peeking at him while he's doing what he's doing. But at the same time, he's going to abandon that position they just put him in, and I guess that's because Na'Vi's decided, well, yeah, we could leave a passive scout here, but we really don't think this is going to work out for us in the long run. Let's find something else to do. So
looking at it, Na'Vi, looking towards the 5-6 line in the beginning, has now decided to back off, though, going more towards an 8-9-0 split. Now, Randall. For the people that are unaware, what is the difficulty of approaching this number 2 base, especially with all those?
All right. Well, let's start, of course, with the camo element of all this. There's tons of bushes all over here. You can see one object is Object 416 off in, what is that, Kilo 6. And that's what you're going to have to watch out for. See if he's able to spot anything from the side of Na'Vi as those tanks approach. You're going to wait to see if Tornado's going to be able to provide cover fire. Because you know, on the east side, you don't have hard cover most of the time. You have a few defilades, some low grounds, as it were, and some high grounds to kind of throw yourself behind. But it's tricky. It's very, very tricky to try and make anything happen. It's very nuanced and relies heavily upon a laundry list of to-dos.
But mainly as well, spotting checks.
Yeah.
You know, for the people that don't know, spotting check is when you fire up in the air, then you get spotted, which means that from that where I fired, I can only be spotted from X, Y, and Z. That's
exactly. Yeah. And you'll. Sorry, go ahead.
An interesting thing we wanna before we continue about number 2 base, Rhino has binoculars.
On. Oh. Where is he sitting?
He's sitting in Delta 7 right now on the edge of the forest, and he's actually spotting from there with binoculars on a heavy tank. Just felt like obviously pointing that out.
That's actually going. Curiously, he's actually going to be spotting completely outside the area that any tanks from Tornado currently are. There are actually no tanks even within his.
Maybe it's for when Na'Vi makes their play, the reaction from Tornado.
They're
anticipation.
They're betting on the counterplay through the north, but look at the lineup that we have from Tornado. I don't feel like that's necessarily flexible enough that they'll risk doing that, right? Because you've got 2 Bat Chats. Are you going to send them all the way around the north? And you know you have to send more than one. You can't just send the one on his own because that's asking for him to get picked off. Yeah. You send 2, more reliable, you could do some work, but then you're kind of abandoning some strong positions. I don't necessarily agree with it. I see what Rhino's going for, but I'll have to wait and see if Na'Vi's able to prompt something.
Yeah, we want to see if it actually works, but these blind shots in the meantime getting rather close. You can see the lasers there. Left shot, you move, you die pretty much, but those shots are getting close. Left shot takes 1 though, already from Nuclear in that mouse. Netsqui, it's going to be found because the tanks from Na'Vi were getting rather close with those shots. 1 more blind shots going through those bushes. Left shot clearing in front of him. They haven't found Netsqui just yet, but they're getting damn close.
Yeah, they're just going to have to go bush by bush by bush, figure out what angles they've missed, what they've hit, and it's going to be a lot of chatter and communication for the next few minutes. Now, what would you say the timer is right now, based on the lineup Tornado has, that Na'Vi, how long do they have until Na'Vi has waited too long to start?
I feel like the lineup from Tornado plays into the favor of Na'Vi a little bit because of those slower setup, semi-slower. I mean, it's not bad shots, so they can't run away effectively. So I think the gap is 2 minutes 30. Anything lower than that, and they'll be forced into a heavy commitment, probably 1-2 line, 1-2-3 line push. So I think they have until about 3 minutes where they can play around with it, trying to clear out the bushes. If they can find them, it'd be amazing.
Yeah, that would work out. That would be nice for Na'Vi. Now, of course, they can abandon this east side, right? They can decide, you know what, maybe we want to go and hit the 1 cap.
Greloid here in siege mode.
Oh yeah, and he's got his butt right up in the air. just so he can peek up and over and see what he can see.
I tested this. I couldn't get onto the Udes, onto the cap, without getting spotted. So I want to see if Krillor is actually able to pull it off.
I doubt it. My expectation is based off of, if you're looking at where Nesquik is right now, you can see there's an angle actually. I know you can spot through this bush.
Oh, but they found him. First blind shot from Inspirer coming out. The second as well. Nesquik down to 473. Nesquik down to 84. One more shot. He tried to move. Inspirer is out of ammo though, lucky enough for Nesquik, but I think they found him. Lefstra has seen it. More shots coming out. Strike, slide from the back lines. Desperately trying to find him, and Strike does it! That is Nesquik gone, and that is still enough time for Na'Vi to make it work.
All right, so we set the timer. They've got a huge amount of extra time now, so they can keep pushing this up, inching and inching and inching. Now, Tornado, you just lost your forward scout. There's, of course, the answer, which is I usually see a scout move up and over the north, or we see someone get really risky and hit the building in, what is that, Juliet 6, right? Right near where we saw Nesquik go down, but a little bit harder cover, and it has its own risks, so we'll get to it if it comes to it. But
here we go.
It doesn't look like the north flank's going to come in, so Rhino's actually going to need to figure out what he's going to do next.
It depends on how Tornado responds to this. They had near you still on top of those bushes, spotting out, but obviously not good enough to spot that Udes in siege mode. Obviously in siege mode he gets a camo bonus, so he's able to drive into that cap just fine without taking any damage. And now the question remains, is Tornado Energy capable of blind firing this Udes?
Absolutely. I mean, you know process of elimination for most of these. There's going to be...
It's just so hard when the entire cap is unspotted because there's so many places he can sit in.
Yeah, but...
And he's also very low. He might be able to sit in some areas where it's very hard to hit even.
These are good things to consider.
Shells going high.
All considerations that these players are thinking about, right? But there's about 3 or 4 good hot spots. Things that are more reliable than the other spots on the cap, and that's where you're going to start looking first. Although, I do agree with this more. I think this is the more appropriate. You just go with something more reliable. You try not to waste too much time getting into position, and you see that Rhino's actually going to start moving in. So we'll see if he'll actually even join the fight in time, because those 113s are really moving.
So Rhino pushing up. Lefstra, Krillor on the cap, 24 seconds left. They have to make a move. Diador, Apoao, maybe even Server are going to go across the K-line. Near you is going to try and spot it out. So far, he doesn't find anything, though. That's a bad shot. He needs to be careful. The 113 is already spotted out. Near you rushing in. 10 seconds left to get a reset on this one. He still doesn't see anything. Near you needs to get the reset, but how much damage will he take? He spots Lefstra, and finally he spots Krillor as well. Lefstra is on the run. He goes down towards the one shot. Krillor is still alive as well for now. Apoao taking a lot of damage, but look at Tornado's energy lineup.
They give it up.
2 minutes and 9 seconds. Was it worth it?
At this point, look at the hit points. Tornado is down about 2k, so...
Krillor would just drive back onto the cap though.
Yeah, and they could put the pressure back on again. Now, Na'Vi still got all the guns in the game, right?
They need a second player on the cap though. Lefstra?
Not Lefstra. No. Maybe that's what Rhino's job is. Just put him on the cap as a shield.
But it doesn't seem like they're going for that so far. They're moving towards the 1-2 line.
Like, because he got the 113s to come down south, means they can't support on the backside of the hill very easily. There's a blind spot, so Stray Kids Light can move in, and the timing could not be better. Look, it's Server. Waiting.
Server
takes one.
Out. Gets strike, gets hit and return though, puts him down towards the one shot. He can't trade anymore. In the meantime, Anatolic making a very bad peek over on that K-line position, loses most of his HP. Actually, he loses all of it. He's down and out. Na'Vi seems to be just a little bit too much under pressure, starting to panic just ever so slightly.
Yeah, solid pickups right there. You've got near you, Nesquik down. Now only the Antolich in return. It's not a bad place to be. Of course, Tornado, though, hit points wise is kind of in the lead where there are more guns on the field for Na'Vi.
But look at this play now. Na'Vi
can still go either way.
Abandoning base number 2. Might be going towards the other base now. Base number 1, try and play from that point on, but it's going to be so hard to hold on from that one.
A lot easier to make that work at this point in the battle, because you got a lot better cover. Your opponent, you know exactly where they are.
That's what they're going to try. Rhino's going in. He wants to pick up Nuclear. Inspire is still on the reload for now. Nuclear wants to push forward, trying to get the reset, but Rhino will reload before he can do that. 7 seconds left on that one. Strike in the meantime picks up Server, and Tornado's gonna have to sacrifice a lot for this, but all they need is 1 or 2 resets, and it should be enough. Rhino's gonna pick up this mouse. No, he doesn't. He bounces. It's a little bit of shake there, a little bit of frustration in his aim. Inspire is trying to block them off as well. 4 seconds left. A reset needs to come out right now for Tornado Energy, and it doesn't look like it's gonna be. Griffon needs to reset, and it doesn't happen. Na'Vi pick up the first round with 5 seconds to spare.
Nicely done. Way to play it close.
And they tracked Griffon. They tracked him.
That's
Pretty much tracked him on top.
I saw him sitting there for a minute.
I didn't see him on the main screen, so I didn't want to go like about him.
No, I have no inside, but
I saw it on your screen that he got perma-tracked. I think he got perma-tracked.
But I thought he had the angle, barely, but apparently not. Apparently not.
It depends on how he got tracked, right? If he has enough gun depression on that exact spot, obviously the Swedish CD having nice gun depression, but it depends how he gets tracked.
You're right, and where he got tracked, thinking about it, that makes a lot of sense. I'd believe that. I'd buy that. He was probably tracked on the slight uphill. That slight uphill right there on the backside.
Amazing play. Perma-tracking him. Well, it's not the hardest thing in the world to track an STRV because he has to siege up, right?
And the tracks.
But if you're Griffon, don't you just drive into them?
No. You probably don't even have time. Think about it. You're driving forward downhill.
It depends on how long he was sitting on that slope.
If you get tracked on your right side going downhill at your opponent, you're going to turn all the way around. That's worse than getting tracked on the side of the hill there, I think.
They had that, though. They had that.
You're right, but that reset, I think we both agree, very well should have happened. Like 80–90% of the time, that shot should have come out, should have connected, should have got the reset. And then, although at the same time, the battle was still lost. It was still over.
This is the blind fire we were talking about, clearing out those bushes. Could see how good Navi are at that exactly. Took them a while to find Nesquik, but when they did, as soon as they saw those shots not go through, obviously for the people that don't understand, what do we mean when we say when the shots don't go through?
Well, you can see the tracers, of course, right? And of course you're going to connect with an opponent or you're going to hit the dirt. And when you hit the dirt, you see a nice splash of dirt come up, right? The impact of that shell. If not, well, it disappears, right? All of a sudden you're like, where did that go? Well, it went into an enemy tank. And now you know there's something there. Yeah, you may not know exactly.
You could see there on the screen, Griffon's track indicator, it was right. He was perma-tracked.
Thank you for that. That's good to know, because that's one of those little details that if you miss, you just
Strong
miss
start
the whole.
for Navi. I think that's what they need, though, against Tornado Energy.
I agree. Because right now I believe everyone's favoring
Tornado.
My
prediction?
No, you can't. You're stuck with it. Tornado's your bet. So I was actually about to bring that up, because you're leaning a little towards Tornado, which makes a lot of sense, and your arguments stand. But when it comes down to it, Navi is one of those long-standing teams that, yeah, they've been solid for a little while. Yeah, they may not have had the sparkling reputation that they've had in the past where they seemed completely untouchable, but I just give it more to Tornado, and, well, this should just be close. That's all I'm betting it'll be. It should be close. Any given Sunday, any given battle, it'll go either way.
Well, here we go. Tornado coming out with an aggressive play. Already putting 3 guys on the cap. That pushes it all the way back down to 35 seconds left. Apowao is going to be pushing in towards those houses with his 1-1-3, trying to block off the likes of Strike who are playing behind that. Apple takes some damage to get there, but now he'll be able to play against Strike. Left side is going to be joining there though in his 113. Takes the first shot on the crossing. Needs to be careful. Diador is waiting there as well, but reset needs to come soon. Yeah,
we need to see that out of Strike, but the thing is he's pinned. He doesn't have the opportunity to peek out and get these resets without taking a good 1k damage at least, is my bet. And even worse is he might get perma-tracked, but you see,
5 seconds.
Shaw is in, Strike is out.
Strike is out, the reset needs to come. There we go, Server takes it, but left shot, he's gonna pay for this one. He's down to half HP already. Diador takes loader damage, so repairs that quickly. Damage taken is actually now starting to stack up on the side of Tornado.
There's the flank fire coming in from the east. You got Kiruloid, although Griffin is in a little 1v1. That's against, is that Inspirer? Off on the east side? Yes, but oh, he's gone.
It is Inspire, or it was Inspire in that case, and the Kiruloid Udes might be going down here as well, but he's going to be running away, making sure he gets safe in that one. And Atolech, though, picks up Griffon in return. A beautiful shot there from the team captain from Navi coming out. That evens the battles of the tier 10s, but the HP still going with Navi.
Still going with Navi. You got a few very healthy tanks. Not a lot of crit damage, though, if you look across Tornado. So, yes, they've lost hit points, but no one's lost too much combat capability.
Look at this damage coming out now, though. Left shot just continuing to take shot after shot. Kiruloid now getting in position. Gets the first one towards near you. That's the power of that Udes. Decent reload as well. Makes it a very powerful tank. Apowao takes a truck ton of damage as well in his 113. He seems to be perma-tracked on this corner. Left shot, is he going to get the finish on towards Apowao? He does! At the same time, near you goes down, and that is 4 tanks left standing for Tornado Energy, and that was the nail into the coffin.
Yeah, this is completely tipped into the favor of Navi. In just a moment, they got the kills they needed. I was becoming skeptical because I saw the pinned down tanks of That was the 113 the shot, and then with him,
strike.
Yeah, I felt like that was going to turn.
Left shot was taking so much damage, but Apoa peeked. We used both of his repair kits and go permatrack.
And then the permatrack was exactly what they needed, and from that everything falls apart. Right. At this point now, Na'Vi just cleans it up. They've got it. They go on to the next battle, and that's a strong way to start this one, especially because we're expecting Tornado to play well, but Na'Vi's going to start this one off with a nice 2-0 lead.
Who would have expected that? If Na'Vi takes the next round, I want to change that.
You want to change it? I'm not letting you change your bet. You're sticking with it, at least until Battle 5.
I just feel like if Na'Vi starts... Okay, at least on Battle 5.
Battle 5.
I'll make you a prediction now. If it's 4-1 in Battle 5, coming into Battle 6, then I'm going with Na'Vi.
Okay.
I want to stick with Tornado, but what I've seen so far doesn't look good. That's
what do you think?
That gives me warning signs.
What indications do you see out of
their reactions are not that great right now.
Usually they're a lot sharper, yeah.
Yeah.
But was there any move in particular that just kind of told you?
The fact that they got outplayed by Inspire and Kreloid. Those two tanks, the Bacha and Udes, completely sealing the deal almost. And then Apoa, player of his caliber, getting permatrack there, something that would almost never happen.
It says something's going on. Something's a little different.
It doesn't necessarily say something's going on, but it just doesn't.
Or something's not going on.
It doesn't make me feel the confidence. I feel Tornado is the best team when they start strong, when they get that ball rolling early.
But only 2 battles worth of results right now, right?
But in high important victories, though.
Fair enough, but
especially that first one, that close round, you know.
I don't know. I'm looking at Na'Vi and they look sharp.
They look sharp. No much better than in the group stage, for sure. And picking up their second round here, already taking a small lead over Tornado. Now, this is not the start of the match we expected. I mean, we expected these teams to go blow for blow straight from the beginning. The first round looked like it, but this wasn't enough from Tornado.
But look at that, Nuclear trying to carry as hard as he can, just cannot manage to do it. Right behind him, you've got 5 players of Na'Vi before you see the next player from Tornado. So stats-wise, damage hugely in favor of Na'Vi.
Especially like Apoa, who's supposed to be one of the main players from this team, Griffon as well. One of their best players together with Apoa, in my opinion. And they're just not having the performance just yet we're expecting from them. This man had a massive game during the group stage against Eclipse, probably solo-handedly wiping them up in that Prokhorovka battle. So.
Oh yeah, that was a stomp compared to what we're seeing now. Absolutely, but what? I guess the big question is like, I don't know if I want to say that Tornado looks any worse than they usually are. I think
the second map will tell us a lot.
I think so. It's like too few results to say anything yet.
But if there's any second map where you can favor Tornado, it would have to be Ruinberg.
Ruinberg's not a bad place to go.
I mean, they were the ones that introduced the triple mouse on attack against Na'Vi before the patch. That was them.
Yeah, I guess it was.
That was them, and I think that was even at the Champions Rumble they did that before the patch and caught Na'Vi completely off guard. So if there's anybody that knows how to play this map, it should be them.
Yeah, although against Na'Vi of all teams, Na'Vi might know a thing or two after playing those matches.
From what I've heard, these teams have trained each other for 2 weeks straight.
So they know everything.
They know everything. They know them inside out.
So now it's a head game.
Yeah, it's a mind game.
It's not actually about playing
the lineup, do you play to your strategy, or do you play something else?
And you just try and mess with them. One little switch up, they start overthinking it. You know enough about your opponent.
I think in mind games, though, Na'Vi is the better team. I think they have that experience still a little bit more than Tornado Energy. But if it comes to a head-to-head, then you're obviously going to give it to Tornado Energy, player skill-wise. But we'll have to find out. We're almost ready to get to this one underway. What do you expect from Ruinberg?
Ruinberg standard Southeast play, right? I don't take teams like this to go with North 1 side caps. It doesn't seem their style. It seems weirdly risky and very dependent on the lineup. Especially since...
Well, you might be very wrong, Randall.
Am I wrong? What's the lineup?
I can't tell you. We're going to wait. We're going to discover this together. And then we're going to talk about what Na'Vi is going to do and how they are going to try and pull this off. Because this is a hardcore one. No, Randall. We have to wait for everybody.
I'm just excited because I look at lineups and I see things and there's so many things to talk about. I mean, we're seeing some old school tanks that that we don't see every day.
So here we go.
But-
Lineups coming out. Talk me through this one, Rukel.
Okay.
Mouse, Batchat 113, Batchat 113, i7, and AMX CDC.
Flip it on its side, throw it on the cap. There you go.
Randall 2017. They're not going to go towards the northern base. Well, Randall, let me tell you, that might be
I am
exactly
so wrong. I could not be more wrong. I assumed Na'Vi wouldn't do that. I just assumed that that would be too obvious. But I guess it isn't. So, okay. I misjudged Navi's head game. So,
You might still be right, though. Kreloid is currently situated in the southern side of the map.
So you think maybe I'm actually right and it's a head game?
No, but I'm just trying to make you feel better.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, even if it's a head game, bringing an AMX CDC seems like a little bit too far. It seems like you're taking the joke a little far when you're bringing the CDC.
Seems like a massive head game. Kreloid pushing across the K-line with left shot.
Yeah.
It is that mind game you talked about, but it's the reverse one. Pretend you're going towards the south to rush the north. Kreloid goes down almost instantly. Left shot is kind of safe behind it, though. Nesqui trying to rush out. Left shot should be supported from Strike, though. Left shot needs to be careful. Tries to make the shot, doesn't. Has 3 left in the chamber. Nesqui right next to him, and here we go. This is the northern rush coming out from Na'Vi, trying to surprise the side of Tornado. They're hitting some shots from near you on the move, though. It's some brilliant shooting. Rhino's going to be getting onto the cap rather quickly, and this is going to work out.
You think so? Because we're going to see a little bypass, but will the toll be high enough? Can Tornado make Na'Vi pay just enough? A few bounces that are key right there, but with near you dropping, yeah, I'm starting to see what you're talking about here. This should go in favor of Na'Vi because there's not really a lot there for Tornado to actually support their own #1 cap or even spot it at this point.
They have lost left shot, which was obvious, but he did what he was supposed to do, play out the mind game. They killed Nesqui in that way. And now, how does Tornado get back to the base?
Oh, they don't. They just try and get back there. Although, if you do that and you peek out, I mean, that's a great way to get reset. If you just take a mouse and you peek. But ignoring that part, there is at least who's right there behind Rhino. I can't tell on the mini-map.
It's 2 tanks on the cap. I think that is the Anatolij.
Slide, actually. No, it's Slide and Rhino.
Slide and Rhino.
Yeah.
My bad.
And with them there, oh, and I love this. Look, Griffin's coming in on the west side. You've got a Batchat Diodor and straight.
It's going to be enough, though, because both these tanks on the cap are going to turn around. Griffon will get the reset, like you said. Here we go. The MX-50B going to peek from behind. Slide is already waiting there. That's what I'm talking about. 2 shots coming towards Griffon. He's already down to half HP, and he's going to be reloading at one point anyways. There is Strike as well, peeking out. Server goes down in the meantime. Strike doing the damage. Going to pick up Griffon. This leaves 3 tank for the side of Tornado. And again, Na'Vi coming out strong, coming out swinging 3 rounds in a row. Tornado's going to have to rethink how they're playing this round.
Oh, yeah. This is an amazing start for Na'Vi. Completely unexpected from both of us. I thought it was going to be close. This is beyond that. We can't take any credit for knowing this. Na'Vi's done their homework. They're focused. They're ready to go. And with a strat like this, they faked him out. The CDC, honestly, didn't think that was going to work, even if it's a fake. And so it does.
And Tornado thought it was a fake as well.
Yeah, they just...
Leaving just near you as sole defender of the northern side, getting completely caught off guard, thinking Na'Vi would not make the northern play. And they did, and this is Apuao going down and just leaves Diodor in his bad shot. He has everything available towards him, but the base is captured, and that makes Na'Vi go up 3-0. And now I am starting to get worried.
Yeah, you definitely should be. I think Tornado should be worried. They really don't look like they're playing up to the level that we expect them to.
They're getting mind-gamed.
Super hard.
Na'Vi brought the CDC. Obviously, what we said is one of the possibilities is to flip it over, drive it onto the cap, set behind it. Now, Tornado did not think Na'Vi was going to go north whatsoever. Leaving just near you is very standard for Tornado. But I've never actually seen near you die on the way away.
What do you
Driving
mean?
away. I've never seen him die.
Driving away, like trying to run or
Yeah,
retreat?
like he tried to run away from A7 and he died.
I didn't notice that. That's not something I'd normally think that I'd see from him. Yeah, I can see why you're pointing it out now, because it's just kind of weird. But looking at post-game damage, let's actually take a look at that. Type 5 able to put out only 565. over there with Griffin.
Just not much to do for Nuclear.
Oh, and
driving across the open of the field, getting shot at by 113s, Mouse side scraping in the cap.
Yeah, I thought I'd bring it up just because I know you have some thoughts about Type 5s, and they
just don't like it. I remember a discussion what meta was going to be more superior, Mouse or Type 5.
It turns out it's really the Mouse most of the time. It's more consistent.
Maybe that's why James is on the analyst desk.
Oh. I mean, I love the Type 5. It's fun. But it seems like the mouse's fun cousin who likes to like go out and, you know, go bowling all the time and whatnot. You know, just have a good day's time. Not too much fun though.
Yeah, but I've played Type 5. I just don't really enjoy it. But now,
not your style? Yeah.
Oof, Randall, you're gonna guide me through this one. I mean, 3-0 down. Now Tornado backed up into the corner. Navi 4-0 down. If Tornado goes 4-0 down, books are closed. We're going home.
I mean, maybe. I've seen best of 13s come back from worse, but
against Navi.
Against Navi, maybe not. You're right there. Navi of all teams, but
guide me through this one though, Randall.
Okay, the line.
1, 2, 3 IS-7s for the side of Tornado.
Yeah, Russian power. That's what you do. You bring just nice Russian hardware, and you drive forward is the best direction, find the bad bend, shoot the bad bend, win because. I feel like that doesn't need more explanation there. This is what IS-7s do. They go forward and they kill things.
Well, we're getting underway here in game number 4 between Navi and Tornado. Navi on the defense, Tornado on the attack. These triple IS-7s rush in the middle. Diador takes some damage. Griffon did some too, took some too. Diador taking some more. So far, the initial damage on the side of Navi, and this is an all-in play if I've ever seen one, Rukel. Yeah. They're all going on towards the cap. They're trying to shield it. They're trying to make this work, but is it going to work?
It might just. You're going to see a few resets, and that's what I need to see. Applewell and Server, they need to start screening the cap. They need to delay those resets just enough to the point where it barely is going to get through. If they can do that, yes, they've got the win. If not, you're going to see a drawn-out brawl, and I think this might be Tornado's one to kind of...
Look at this, Navi now all going towards the middle road, coming up and over to get the resets. Janatolich is the first one. The shield is still going on to the cap. Diador is shielding Griffon and Nirio behind him. 12 seconds remain. Kreloid is down towards 160 HP. They're abandoning. They're going to go try an overmatch in the zero line. Rhino is waiting there though. Slide is there as well. They've lost so much HP. Can they pull through with this?
Maybe so. Through the high ground, you have a lot to work with, and if they can secure the control, there's an option there. But you can't get too strung out. Have to worry about the focus fires there. That's good. Kill Slide. Nice. But losing Server for that, I don't know if that's going to make it even.
Look at the HP of Rhino. That mouse just disappeared. 3,200 HP like it was nothing. Tornado coming with the aggressive play. It seems to work straight down the middle in towards Navi. That head-to-head that we talked about, they're making it work right here, right now. Navi is kind of surrounded. Nuclear in the meantime wins this 1-1 in the middle road. And this just leaves 3 time for Navi in a crossfire. And Tornado finally going to pick up that first round.
Nicely done right there. Okay, so what we saw from Tornado, they could have gone with a more aggressive screen, but they held back. And I think what that actually created was a bit of a vacuum, would you agree? And it kind of sucked a few of those tanks up onto the middle road that otherwise would have probably had a defilade to retreat back to. And without that, there was that tiny opportunity. Tornado kind of just came into it, and there you go. You get your few kills. And your nice little win for Tornado.
Definitely an overreaction from Navi though, you know, all afraid of getting capped and all driving on top of the middle road. It's leaving the zero line
completely exposed.
Completely exposed.
No, you say arguably, I say completely. Don't hold back on that one. That was exposed. There was nothing really there.
Too many tanks in the middle road.
Yes. Everything's decided to jump into the same spot. They didn't think they were going to get the resets. Tornado knew what was coming. They didn't take enough damage from those tanks in the middle road, and so they were able to retreat.
Amazing.
Navi probably could have won that by focus firing the tanks that left cap a little bit better, taking at least one more down.
2 IS-7s were one shot when they drove off of the cap and they survived.
Yeah.
One of them even got a kill. So, I don't know, that was great play though from Tornado. Gotta say, 3-0 down, coming out with a play like this, which is an all-in play.
Did you see that right before we cut to this? Well, real quick, we'll talk about this. Nuclear, 4,000.
Again, he's been there every single battle. He is on top. Nuclear doing the work for his team.
Yes, that's good to see. Now, and then you see this one, the stats for this battle are definitely different from what we've seen in the past. It's all been stacked way into the favor of Navi, but now you've got a nice mix. Tornado players that put up some decent damage.
Actually, Randall, I'm starting to believe just a little bit again in the side of Tornado. I don't know why I ever lost my faith. This next one, map especially, if there's a map which again should be going towards Tornado, it should be Ruinberg. I mean, Ghost Town. Sorry.
Yeah, we're just wrapping up Ruinberg. It's been a long day, buddy. It's been a long day.
I saw Ruinberg on the screen, so I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I mean, Ghost Town, because we talk about Na'Vi, Tornado head-to-head. And we all say, Analyst Desk as well, that head-to-head between Na'Vi and Tornado, we believe that Tornado has just the 7 better players. So Ghost Town is one of those maps where you do get into those fights. Those individual brawls, team brawls.
Yeah, those tiny lanes that exist on either side. You go to the southwest, you've got 3-4 lanes that you can play with. You go to the other side of the map, you still got 3-4 lanes you can play with. It's very easy to kind of slice and dice your opponent that way, yeah. But if you think that's where Tornado comes back into this one, then what happens is if Tornado wins 2 in a row right now, you're just looking at a tied series.
Yeah,
effectively null.
From 0.
Yeah, you throw out Moreau, you throw out Ruinberg, you throw out Ghost Town, and then
playing a best of 5, a best of 9, then kind of.
Yeah, you can look at it that way, but it almost kind of downplays the fact that a series is quite as much as it is, because this takes at minimum about an hour. Like, the very quickest best of 13s and best of 9s take near an hour.
Yeah, best of 9 like 40 minutes if it's really quick, but...
But that's really quick. Not a lineup like this. Not Na'Vi versus Tornado.
So Na'Vi, Tornado 3-1. Ghost Town coming in. Na'Vi is going to be attacking. They're bringing 3 Mouses, double T57 heavy and a double WZ heavy as well.
It's almost, wait, was that almost mirror but not quite, right? Yeah.
Almost mirror but not quite. Tornado replacing 1 WZ with a tier 9 Batshot.
I like that. I like the WZs, the 111s, but having an AP mixed in there, especially when you have 3 mouse, T57, T57, 1.
Somehow I feel Na'Vi is driving like this on purpose. You see how Nesky was doing the initial spot on the northern side, B5, B6. Na'Vi seemed to purposely, at least it looked like that, have dodged that little gap or window in which you could have spotted them. I didn't see any of them yet.
Good play. That's good driving.
You could get surprised here, Nesky. He's standing in the open.
And firing, by the way. So he'll be on reload, not able to even try and throw out a scary response.
Try getting spotted out to HE, 10 damage on towards Griffon. Nesky should know how to get safe. He spots 2 guys. That should give him the information he needs, but this is going to be Na'Vi getting onto the cap rather quickly. Rhino takes a shot from Nuke on the crossing, but the cap is going to start, at least we think so. There we go, first guy onto the cap. Na'Vi is going to be trying to hold this one, Rukilk, but
this is tricky.
It's going to be hard.
Yeah, are we going to see an overmatch first onto the mouse that are between the cap and almost in literally everyone from Tornado? Or are we going to see people try to bypass? Because that's going to be important for the reset here.
All those mouses from Na'Vi have now pulled back. There was nothing to overmatch on. They've now pulled back around the corner.
There we go.
Good decision making.
Yeah, that's good. Because you know they're going to group up. You know you're going to be outplayed there. And you know there's probably going to be that AP we were talking about slipping in and getting a crucial reset.
But look at this. Diana Tolic slide on the flanks. They don't expect it. They're going to peek out right now, trying to do the damage. Diador seems to be tracked already. Tracked in health. He's repaired again. He's fine for now. Near you, Apuao rushing across, trying to help out their teammates. Diana Tolic again in the T57 on Ghost Town is not having a good time whatsoever. Apuao in a few seconds will be able to finish him off, and that will be a T57 heavy down for the side of Na'Vi. There we go. Diana Tolic in the slide tried to make the trap, but they got trapped instead.
It did not work. That blew up in their face very, very quickly. And now you have some Na'Vi players in positions that I'm not sure I like. You see LaShaw down below. Just down below right now, not able to really contribute to the fight, and if he decides to get much more aggressive, he's completely out of position. Everyone else on Na'Vi is trying to hold their current lines, but I'm not sure I like this as far as Na'Vi goes. It seems like only a matter of time where it's just going to be bullied out by Tornado. Tornado should have us.
Look at it, though. Na'Vi is just losing the fight one-on-one. Well, 3-on-3 there between the Mouses and Spire is the first one to go down. Rhino not very much better, but for the side of Tornado still so much history. Left shot pushing across, like you said, him being on the low side, lost most of his HP, is now on 381, and Tornado, the head-to-head that we were talking about, they're just cleanly winning. It's still 7 players alive, and here comes the push from Tornado, wanting to close out this round. This head-to-head fight, it didn't go well for them whatsoever.
Although look at that, Strake's playing it solid, forcing like 4 or 5 bounces, I think, before he's forced down. Gotta give it to individual player skill on Na'Vi. People do tend to favor Tornado many times, but gotta give it to Na'Vi. They still hold up their end when it comes to it. And yeah, this is going to be over in due time. Give it a moment.
It should be over in due time. Slide, 15 seconds on reload. Might get at least one more clip out, but he's going to need a little bit more. It's enough for Griffon. It's enough for Nuclear or Diodor, but after that.
Yeah, it's at this point. Slide probably can't do much, but I mean, theoretically, there's a number of places this could go, but we'll probably just see this clean it up because these guys are too good to make those kinds of mistakes most of the time. There we go. Slide should go down momentarily. Griffin and Diodor moving around. Nuclear actually might even be able to get the kill right there on the Slide, although it looks like they even found Kirloid, and that's Diodor looking for that.
That's Nuclear picking up Slide, just Kirloid to building in the way. Griffon doesn't want to destroy it for Diodor, and Diodor doesn't want to destroy it for Griffon. Don't just win, do damage is their motto, and they're sticking with that, but Griffon picks it up, and that puts it 3-2.
Not bad. That's Tornado coming back. And do you want to take back your
I don't know.
or one?
Yeah, I want to stick with Tornado.
You're going to stick with Tornado?
I'm going to let somebody on the analyst desk get right for once, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay, you also have to throw everyone off, you know? They don't want to, because everyone depends on you being right.
You know, if I throw off my prediction here, then we'll go back to the analyst desk and they'll be like, Daki changing his prediction, but I'm sticking.
Yeah, because after a while, it's like, what's the point? Daki just knows the future. You know, we got to add a little suspense to all this.
I was just playing with them.
Although I have to be completely honest.
Yet again.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Nuclear. 4,600. It's a little less than last time. He's slipping.
He's slipping. He's lost about 100 damage, but Ghost Town is that map, head-to-head. They just won.
I can't believe it. It's crazy. I really did not know, or at least I didn't feel like I could come to a conclusion about Tornado versus Na'Vi. It doesn't feel like a match that you can just know is going to have a favor one way or another. Because both of these teams are the kind of guys that pull what we've seen so far in the series. And with all of that, like, you play head games, you just do stuff on the next level. And I guess what that means is any given Sunday, any day of the week, in fact, any hour of the day, you'll get a different result because of the way these guys are.
I don't feel like we have always... I know Tornado won the last two. Right? Tornado won the last two, but it doesn't usually say a lot. It kind of just depends on the day itself, the preparation, the first few rounds.
Because you can tell these guys are intensely playing so that they're countering their opponent. They're not just trying to play a better strat. They know what their opponent is going to do, and they're trying to force specific behavior so that they can take advantage of it.
Well, now Na'Vi is going to be switching to the attack on Ghost Town. Can they make the difference there? Or is it going to be Tornado energy to make it all even between these two? That'd be impressive. 3 rounds either side.
That, and also a bit strange for this caliber of play.
Yeah.
Usually I would expect a bit more back and forth rather than one map
dominant. It's those percentages we talked about in the beginning, though. But apparently between these two, those few percent that Na'Vi was better on Moravanka showed off. And maybe here, those few percent Tornado is better than Na'Vi and Ghost Town might show off.
Maybe just. We'll have to see. This is battle number 2. On Ghost Town. I think that's on total. That's battle number 6. And good old mouse meta. Nice slow opens, some bat chats to make it exciting. And an email too from Apple WoW. Remind me, that's not common, is it?
No,
email too?
not for Ghost Town whatsoever. It has good turret though, strong turret even.
Yeah,
already double cap coming out for the side of Tornado. 52 seconds left at this moment in time. Nesky is going to be joining in that one in just a second. There we go, 30 seconds left. And it's going to be on to Strike to get those resets, at least for now. And look at Applewell. He's actually found a very good position there for that Emil too. He tracks Strike. The first one going in towards the truck. The second one going into the trucks as well. Strike does not have a repair kit anymore. This feels intentional almost from Applewell. Holding Strike where he is.
Exactly what he's going for. And look, another track to follow it up. You've got 8 seconds left, and if looking around, I don't see
anybody that's going to be able to get a reset.
Inspire
finally.
Maybe. Inspire maybe.
He did just get a reset. 8 seconds left to Inspire. Is going to have to get another one if he wants his team to survive. 5 seconds left. Inspire needs to make the reset right now. He needs to hit the shot. He does. 17 seconds left. What a play from Inspire. Just about saving his team in this one.
And it's going to have to be a break, right? Give up on this cap right now and focus on the next step. Tornado's going to have to go for something more important. That's the brawl, right? Focus fire, pick your targets, and move on, right? You don't hold back and wait for yourselves to be picked off.
Yeah,
and that's what we see. Inspirer goes down. Now it's Drake.
Out of here, Drake is also in trouble. He's getting flanked from everywhere, left, right, and center. Yes, Na'Vi has a lot of HP, but the gun in the game, 4 versus 6. Tornado, they're doing it part 2 on Ghost Town, and they still have the cap going. 15 seconds left. The resets in the meantime didn't come in anymore. 12 seconds now on that one, and now another player from Na'Vi will be forced to go into the Lions Den to get another reset. 6 seconds left. Slide, I think he's going to be the one that needs to get it, but they're moving off the gap, and finally another reset comes out. But how long can Na'Vi keep doing this before they fall?
But look at this, Anatolich zeroes on a target, gets the kill. That's near you, and this is still a fight. This could still go either way. Hit points wise, it's not far off. And as far as guns in the battlefield, yes, you've got 4 on the side of Tornado, but positioning, that's what's important here, because you just saw Anatolich roll on out and pick up a crucial kill.
Yeah, but in return though, he lost all of his HP, the full 2000. Netsquee, Apoa, not connecting the shots so far. Apoa has only 1 more. Rhino's trying to play around with that. I don't know if it was worth it, or he's going to take 2 shots for this one. Netsquee just about to be reloaded, going to pick it up in that WZ. There we go, double kill from him. Mistake from Rhino, I'd say, to get on the side there of the WZ. Complete nonsense.
I think he panicked there, and not to say he went completely crazy, but he just didn't make the right choice. He needed to focus on what was going to happen about a minute ago, I guess. He wasn't thinking ahead soon enough, found himself in a place he couldn't win. He'd already lost by that point, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those.
7 seconds left now for Apoa to reload. Reload might get 1 shot in towards him though, onto that email too. Some misses here costing the side of Na'Vi dearly, but Apoa is going to pick it up, and there we go, 3 straight rounds in a row for Tornado. What a play from 3-0 down to 3-3, and Ghost Town, like predicted, the map for Tornado.
And there it is. They win it in decent style. Na'Vi, it looked like they almost had the answer that last battle. It looked like they almost had the solution in order, but they let half of the tanks on their team get hung up
Strike
on...
and Inspire.
Yeah, get hung up on that, and that didn't need to happen.
And then Anatolich had to go in as well, full HP.
And just running and taking fire, and didn't even have his turret in the right spot for him to comfortably take his first shot. Like, it didn't go very well for them.
Still guns in the game, especially Diador. He did above 3k damage. Strike, you can see that in the mouse. Should have arguably done a little bit better at the very least.
And I think
Inspirer as well. I saw him miss 1 shot, which he should have always hit at least.
Yeah, but okay, you give him 1 here or there. And then the email too. I liked that a lot.
Yeah, the tracking on purpose.
There
was tracking on purpose there.
Oh, yeah.
Waste the repair kit, track again. So that was amazing, but it's not just about our thoughts, Randall. I want to know what the experts think about that comeback from Tornado.
Comeback from Tornado has been absolutely quite a surprise here. We were actually having quite a laugh, Daki, listening to you, thinking about changing your predictions there. And see now, he looks like he's got the right choice, staying where he is.
I would say that this comeback is worth of bringing fate when faithful ones at least a bit.
I was looking so happy there, 3-1 up, and
I told you it's not over, man.
It's flipped big time, hasn't it, Rockstar?
Yep, game of momentum started off strong. First map going to Na'Vi, and then Ruinberg. It's typically a 1-in-1 map. Defense really strong on that map for whoever plays it, so it got split there. And then going on to this third map, it goes down. Definitely went to Tornado. A lot of great stuff, which we're going to break down in a second.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, starting off on Muravanka, it was looking like plain sailing for a little while for Na'Vi, wasn't it, Mojo?
It looked like it was actually quite a struggle, to be honest, here. I mean, look at this. The cap pressure here by Tornado is huge, but already there is a plan in motion by Na'Vi. They're going from the lower line. I will show later on the map what happened there really before. But this is the moment that once they get resetted, they are in a problem, because entire force of Na'Vi is right there ready to apply pressure and damage on them.
Yeah, they're really easily able to find that overmatch in the middle here. The TVP, the server, in that bat chat in the 416, they get kind of isolated, and they have to give up the crossfire they hold in that 0 line. And the second they have to start moving is when this whole thing just falls apart for Tornado.
Sorry, what I should say is when it was said it was plain sailing, I mean, they were sitting ahead 2-0. Certainly it was 2 extremely hard-fought wins that they had to get to that 2-0 situation.
I mean, this was the game that brought them to 2-0, but I would like to go on the map, honestly, and show something.
Yeah, because tactically the cap rush that they did at the start brought in the wrong fight.
This is the key thing I want to show from the start. If you watch this group of tanks, you will actually notice from the start they're going here. They're not paying attention to anything. They didn't spot anything. That tells me something really important, that they actually know what's going on. Look at this. Like they're immediately positioning to get a crossfire and to rotate. So there is a cap pressure going on here, and they're now positioning to go and create a crossfire. Now, why is this important, guys? Because every time we were watching the cap rush here passed on. Like we saw teams like Kazna, if you remember, lose the fastest game on Murovanka here.
Right.
And things like that. Many teams replied by positioning in a previous meta a light somewhere here, and he would usually get something like crossfire shots directly here. But that is not enough. People are expecting it. That is why we have him to counter any kind of rotation from this side. That is why we have him who will spot them and so on. So that is not enough. But combo of him and him combined, now that's another story, because he can even aim blind shots if he doesn't have enough of a draw range, because there is a very narrow point here where the tanks can be. It's like 3 tanks on a group, you will hit someone, that's for sure. So no one of these guys actually here don't have to peek too much. They have to attract some attention, and they did, and they lost some HP, but they don't have to risk their lives indefinitely.
Yep, and the crossfire they set up, they made sure that this group here was covering them. So if this group right here decided to try to dump onto this overmatch and try to even finish them off, this group right here was going to have the shots onto this whole cross, so they couldn't go that way. And if they pushed out here to try to come get around, the tanks out here had the crossfire as well. So no matter what happened in that situation, Na'Vi was going to put damage onto Tornado and put them in a world of hurt.
Of course, but the key is, first to do all that, you must reset.
Yeah,
that's the cornerstone of every tactic.
Once you get the reset, that's when the questions start being asked. Because once the reset comes in, that's up to Tornado to figure out what they're going to do. Because they can't sit there. If they sit there, they're going to lose no matter what.
And in a way, it's no real surprise, because we've seen Na'Vi do exceptional cap rush tactics. We've seen Na'Vi in the regular season get outplayed on cap rush tactics. So they've had plenty of time to learn how to do it themselves and also how to deal with it.
I mean, these guys are really experienced, that's definitely, but Tornado is more prone to rushes. Like, we've seen that many times, and that's actually quite a fact. Even in the last games that we witnessed, all the aggression usually came from Tornado, like all the super fast play, and that is their trademark. They're known for it. They're known for it. Now we can play super slow, they can play super defensive, they can rush if they feel confident.
Yep.
But Tornado, they can always rush.
Yep. So map number 1 was done and dusted. Na'Vi were sitting on a 2-0 lead. Going into Runeberg here, we then saw a really fantastic play at the north of the map that allowed Na'Vi to take a further lead against Tornado.
They did what a couple teams tried to do earlier, where they really sold that bait towards the south. They had tanks spotted. They said, hey, we're down here. They used that CDC. That's something that we saw a long time ago, was using a tank to be a bunker down there in the south so you could sit there. And so by doing that and throwing the CDC down there, which, once again, this is mind games. Most teams have been bringing CDCs for the north cap, to be a hold down for the IS-7 in the north. So that's what Tornado immediately jumps on. They say, hey, they're probably going for a north fast cap. And when the CDC pops up in the south, now Tornado's thinking, oh, that's what they're doing, so now they're playing south. They don't even think north is an option anymore, and so they move all their guns away except for the one tank they left in the north. And what happens is, while they're busy dealing with that CDC and the Batchat down there, the just 2 tanks, all of a sudden, all these 113s and IS-7 appear in the north along with the mouse. They get that cap pressure on there, and then Strike comes up the middle road, and that just completely pincers out that A6 village, and from that point on, it was smooth sailing for Na'Vi.
And the key thing was, as well, as when that happened, that you were impressed with it. You said, wow, they made it across and barely anyone took any damage.
Yeah, no, they, like I said, they sold the bait exceptionally well, and it all comes down to the mind game and the lineup choice. That CDC, once again, teams see CDCs, they're going to think north, especially with the IS-7, and not, because they have some 113s, but they bring that IS-7. What do you bring that IS-7 for in this lineup? To put it hold down behind the CDC to force that cap pressure.
And how exactly did they use, like James is saying there, with the CDC like not going where we expected it to? So how exactly did they play that, Mojo?
This is the thing. Like, usually what they say is you flip a CDC and you want to position him here and then tank beside. But I think this is retro tactic that no one else actually uses. There was also beginnings, you could put a CDC here, do the cap pressure and a tank behind it because CDC is tall, and then apply pressure to the team. But they had a mouse, he would have to go through the middle, he would be spotted somewhere here, so that was out of the question. I actually quite don't understand why did it fall for this, because that left only one option. CDC had to go this way. Ducky actually said it in the start. He had to go this way because he's tall and fast enough to die and provide cover for a botshot who will be behind him. If they get somewhere here in the bush, bush is perfect, a little bit before is okay. And then you can get some dominance over here. But entire play was a bait. He had only him covering him to apply damage to kill the spotter for sure. And then they put a real full push here when all of these guns here are actually aiming mainly on this side and not paying attention, because this route here, this is the most critical point on the map, and you get shot to pieces there if all of the team is actually aiming.
The one other subtle thing I really like about this play is when those heavies pushed, Strike was able to come right in here and clean up the 62A, because when these guys push, 62A is going to go to one of two places. He's going to come to the back here,
that was part of the plan.
Dump in here.
That
It was
was
all
the
part
beauty.
of the plan, and it was a perfect catch. They pushed him out, and then Strike could just run away and get out of there. Unfortunately, he got caught by some of the tanks right here, but by that point, it was already over. The cap pressure was there, the positioning was there, and this was all for Na'Vi to
I would say there was some also RNG there in their favor, because I noticed those 113s and I7 like driving like gangsters and shooting and hitting that T67 in distance like he was running away. I'm pretty sure he's upset about that.
Yeah, definitely, but you know, sometimes that's how the cards fall.
Things happen, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, everything going in their favour in that round, but then Runeberg next round didn't go in their favour, and we were back down to 3-1 with Tornado coming back into it. Now, sitting on 3-1, I mean, the favouritism still with Na'Vi. They're looking great at the start here, but then when we go into Ghost Town for the next, by the third map there, things just kind of fell to pieces for Na'Vi, didn't it, Rockstar?
Yeah, and Ghost Town's a map where Tornado have actually kind of struggled recently. This is the map where AppleWow ended up getting stuck during the season finals, or Champions Rumble, I believe it was. Got stuck and he ended up dying. However, once again, they bounced back on a different map. But Ghost Town itself, not one of Tornado's strong points. However, like what we were talking about earlier, just this raw aggression is Tornado's style. And they came out here, they put a lot of cap pressure in the north. And because of how Na'Vi were set up, especially with these mouses, it took them a while to get back here. And the main thing I want to point out from Tornado is how vicious they were with these mouses. The fact that they were able to kill these mouses as quickly as they did is what won that game for Tornado. Not necessarily the fact that they killed them, but how quickly they did and how quickly they're able to get back onto cap and get that cap pressure going again. Another 10 seconds, and Na'Vi could probably clean that up. But because they got that cap pressure going so quickly and they kill those mouses, that's what won that game for Tornado.
It's interesting as well that you mentioned AppleWow, because when everyone talks about AppleWow from last season and what he did wrong in the final match, he carried their team through a Ghost Town match, and he would never have got to where they were if it wasn't for him in Ghost Town. So Tornado know this map really well. They play it a hell of a lot.
Well, this is what we were meaning in this map. This is really interesting. ML2 is not the usual pick for this map because that's not the fastest tank. It's an autoloader, 4 shells, not too accurate hit shells. But here, perfect, because look at this position here. He's in cooldown here, and the cap he needs to protect is here. Only way they read Na'Vi from beginning till the end. They knew that one guy will come from this area and he will try to DK break the houses and so on. Solo purpose he had. Solo purpose this tank had was just to track him all the time. You saw it was deliberate. You could see he's not trying to do damage. He was just trying to do the decaps. I mean, to track him, to make him stop.
And that's a brilliant use for a tier 9. Remember, that's an Emil too. That's not even a Kronvag. So that's a tier 9 they're using to stall out a tier 10 while they have the cap pressure. And from this point on, you know, just look at the setup.
This is the moment now what's going on. Na'Vi is understanding what's going on, of course, and they're trying to push in with full force here because the cap is always on a brink. And you have a lot of mini engagements here, and you have to defend it, and eventually they must lose because the pressure is always there.
And then, unfortunately, from that meant we saw Ghost Town come back to 3-3. Things are all squared now. If you like, the slate is clean between them. No team really has an advantage. If any, it would be Tornado having the back-to-back wins. We're about to go into yet another close map. It's going to be into Himmelsdorf. We always have the saying in the EU region, you don't want to play a CIS team in Himmelsdorf.
Well, both are from CIS, so...
It'll be interesting to see how this one goes. I'm looking forward to it. Let's go back to Dekilzor and Rukil.
Thank you so much, Analyst Desk. Yeah, we definitely agree on the points that we're making there. I mean, Tornado doing very well on those last 3 rounds, and Na'Vi doing extremely well on those first 3, using almost everything they had available to them, especially those blind plays.
Yeah, and actually I want to jump off a point that the guys on the desk brought up right towards the end, which is that as far as it goes with Himmelsdorf, should be close again, right? But with 3 wins for Tornado, maybe we want to lean that way. But how about that little few-minute break we just had?
I'm saying this is a 1-1 map.
Yeah?
I'm going for a 1-1. I don't feel like anybody has a clear favorite here. It's not really head-to-head, and it's tactical as well, but it's also very much about shooting and the correct timing. So I'm going to go 1-1 here between the two.
And of course, depending on what strats they all decide to open up with, that could dictate the entire pace just on that alone, right? Because you decide to go east side and defense goes, what is it, northwest? All of a sudden, you've got a long battle that can go either way. If we see some crazy, both teams go west side, defenders probably come out just fine. And there's a lot of just opening moves that dictate this. But
yeah, we'll have to see what kind of opening moves these two teams go for. We're gonna talk about it again, where they know each other so well, not just because of being at multiple events over and over again, with the teams attending there being mainly the finals than them and Tornado, or Navi and Tornado.
But these are their practice buddies.
And that was the second thing I want to say. They have been practicing for this event. Nobody thought they're going to be in the quarters, including them.
This is a scrim, just extended. That's all it is for them.
Well, just a scrim, which could lead to up to a part of the $300,000
prize pool, absolutely. Now, I don't mean to diminish it, but think about it. At the end of the day, these guys
That's one expensive scrim.
Hey, it's always worth it. Always practice. Be prepared.
Lineups, Randall, Navi, E3, Batshot, Triple Mouse, Object 416, and IS4. No Artie.
No, I'm not surprised there. That happens. And then we got a 12T.
They like that one, Tornado.
You just flip it up. That's because you flip it vertical, right?
No, they haven't flipped it yet. They just seem to like it. Nesque's played it quite a few times already.
Actually,
I'm not a big fan of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to play around with it more, but I haven't touched it since the last light tank
adjustment. I played it like once or twice. I'm just not such a fan. It has 2 second into clip, as you can see there on the vertical from Nesque.
Yeah.
Low alpha. It's just like a pea shooter is what we call it, a pea shooter.
Yeah, it's not really effective enough like when you bring it up against maybe the Mouse and the IS4. 50B, sure, if you run into one, but there's an E3 over here, there's some Batchats, the Object 416. It doesn't have a lot of targets it could really address. But that's not the point, is it? You don't bring a 12T to shoot things. 12Ts are to spot things and to be tiny.
To be put on, to be put on the gap.
To be lit. And hopefully he doesn't do anything that gets him killed up until the time it matters.
Randall, we don't say those kind of things. Now he'll do exactly something that will get him killed.
You're right. I've made a mistake. We'll see. We'll see if it pans out or if the tanks, if RNGesus is kind to me.
It's a very split tactic from Navi. I don't know if I'm a fan, Rokel. It's very, very far away from each other. The rotation distance is quite long.
You're right. It reminds me of when 50Bs were more popular, and T57s, right? When flexing.
And you could get away with flex.
Yeah, exactly. But you've got LeShaw in the 416 all the way in the southwest, right? Then you've got IS4. That's Applewell. Or is it? Sorry, IS4 is Kierloyd. I was picking the wrong team. Kierloyd over there in the west side. He's not going to be able to flex really. IS4 that goes to the far west.
He's kind of
the one
like
line,
locked down on that side no matter what.
I was going to say that. Yeah. It's he doesn't really have the option to leave. He can if nothing happens at all, but otherwise you take a good 1,500 just to reposition. Yeah. It's not worth it. And he might just and then the Batchat hanging around in the backfield because you don't want to get him caught out early on. It's always a waste to watch a Batchat die.
All the rotations from Navi, though. I mean, Nesque's just been sitting there, been spotting them, and now they decide to rotate. So, I don't
with the Tornado push, here's what I expect to see. And tell me where you start to deviate from what I'm seeing. We're going to probably see the Anatolich Strake Lichov south along the G line, back up through the same route that tanks from Tornado are taking on the 8 line right now. So just down around to the south, loop, come up behind him, shoot him in the back while they're trying to cap, while Rhino, Slide, Inspire, Killeroy hold the north. Seems straightforward, right? That's the expected right now.
It does seem expected, but if by the time they do this move with those kind of slow tanks, will be about 7.5 minutes and 3 maps later.
Yeah, you're right, because I forgot to mention that the Anatolich isn't a mouse by the way. LaShaw's an Object 416. He can make the move. You can also see Strake. Strake, they can be fine. But you're right, that mouse is going to be left behind.
What surprises me is why Tornado hasn't started the gap yet. Are they afraid of a tank on A7 or?
No, they're probably just making sure everything's in order. They probably are a little bit aggressive. But look at, after we see this cap, there's one thing I want to jump to on the southeast side of the map with the 50Bs. And nice right there, 360, that's HE.
It's a very nice HE damage shot coming out.
So while this is happening, you have Griffin from Tornado and near you actually, holding back in something that we've seen time to time that doesn't often get played, which is the 250B hit squad.
The timing depends on when it's going to get sprung, because now they're starting to go. They might try to catch left shot, but Strike spots it out in the bot shot, and Anatolic is there in the mouse as well. Like you said, left shot, kind of a no man's land, but the cap, 6 seconds left. There needs to be a reset right now. No reset yet, 3 seconds left. Navi, you've left it too late once more. No reset yet, and this is it. Tornado captures the base with all 14 tanks alive.
Wait, yeah, that's it, confirmed. Absolutely through, amazing. I always wait for the end right there because you just don't believe it for a moment.
Navi,
a cap fast.
Asleep.
What was the time on that?
I'd have to check.
Yeah, I'll check the post game, but 4 minutes 34 seconds, and that's by the way with a mouse trap, right?
And 14 guys alive, and most of them on full HP.
Exactly. So that doesn't happen normally. And surprisingly enough, okay, that right there I think is a good enough reaction for you. Just the energy coming out of Tornado.
Maybe a little bit of frustration even.
Why wouldn't you be frustrated? You just got cap fast.
Well, it was Tornado.
Well, the cap fast just happened. Sorry, you're right. Yeah.
Frustration from the first 3 rounds is still a possibility though.
Yeah.
The damage here is significant. Griffon, what an amazing performance. 743 damage. The man who can. Griffon from Tornado. Oof. Just so much damage.
Oh my god.
So many zeros must be an issue, right?
Newski, Lashaw, Slide, Kierloid, Inspire, all nothing. Slide got 750 blocked. That counts for something, right, Docky?
We'll give like participation points, I guess.
Gold star.
That's probably, to be honest, the only thing these Navi guys did in this round.
Don't just win. Do
damage.
Deal damage?
Yeah,
Always deal damage?
Don't just win, do damage.
With HE?
I don't know if it's with HE.
Is that taking it a step farther? Winning and then winning by only firing HE? Or by
I'd be very impressed if one of these teams could win with just firing HE. I don't know what Navi is doing here, why they left it so late. It's not like they didn't have the info for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it seemed like you should know it's coming. And... oh, okay, there's that excitement we were looking at. I thought that was anger a minute ago. He's pumped.
Nesqui is the team captain, so it's a good win here for Tornado, honestly. Now, coming into the next round, Tornado want to take that second Himmelsdorf round. Navi want to make it all even once more. What do we think about the lineups, Randall?
Oh, well, with these lineups, we're looking at AMX50B, looks like 2 mouse, IS4, Batchat, T110E3, and a 12T again for Tornado. And then Navi's gonna have 113, 250Bs, 2 mice, T110E3, and a 12T as well. So we got the little 12Ts to square off, whilst it looks like hill play from both sides. So we don't get this every day. We had one earlier today with the Elevate match, but I don't know if we've seen any actual hill fights since then, have we?
Nope, I don't think so. When my memory still serves me.
Yeah, it rarely gets used quite that much.
Very similar to what EL did here. And what EL did it with 50Bs. And is this going to work out? But that's the question. There's too many tanks here, I think, for the side of Navi. As soon as this is spotted out, unless they can get the flank on towards the Anatol, it's just such a blind play.
No, yeah, this
Slide will spot it. Slide should spot it. Here we go, Nesqueen near you. Griffon lining up on the corner. The Anatolic spots it out and he's just about away. Rhino's there as well. He's going to have to turn his tank around near you. Continues to push. All of the bad shots continue. Anatolic might be catched out, but the price that's going to be paid from Tornado is going to be very, very high. Anatolic is now on reload. Griffon going to finish that one off. Slide is now off of reload. He's going to try and kill near you, but Griffon shielding near you goes down for this one though. 2 more shots available for Slide, and Rhino finally getting into the fight. This is a weird hill fight, if anything.
Absolutely is, and I don't know if this is you could consider this a huge win for either side. Look
No.
at the hit points lost, right? It's about even right now. And
I'd say it's a win for Na'Vi because Anatolich can lead now.
Fair. Actually, that's a good point. But losing the 12T in for a 50B, okay. Let's give it a little bit to
I
Tornado,
think
right?
is going to take some damage on the way out here.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to make it out for free here because Slide lines up the first, but misses it.
No.
He's not happy about that one. You can see frustration on his face.
Yeah.
Those kind of shots, you know.
But Nesqui's got to be feeling great. I mean, that shell should have connected. He knows it. He's sitting there going, okay, I was saved because just the tiniest little minuscule movement I made here or there.
Now we reset. That was a weird engagement here. Both teams playing the hill.
And so
some lucky spotting run there as well. Anatolich just about backing off as they came across that easier corner.
Yeah, so let's take a moment to account for what each team has, right? So we've got 150B that's dead on the side of Na'Vi. Tornado, they've lost their 12T, so they're light scale. That means Tornado, they're defenders though, so they don't have a 12T for capping. It's just, he's just there.
I'd say Na'Vi came out ahead in this race, to be honest, when we're looking at it. You know, they lost an AMX-50B, but they've taken a defending tank away on Himmelsdorf, where you kind of need to split. They still have their 12T to cap, and while Natsky is going to be useless most of the game.
Fair enough, yeah. He's probably just going to chill out. And, well, now we just wait and see. What is this angle from Applewell?
Side scraping from A6 and trying to spot the zero line.
Oh, okay.
The other can shoot it from.
Oh, I see. Okay. And that's going to be 8-line push. I don't know if this is Na'Vi confidently moving forward. It kind of looks like an arbitrary move almost, because.
But it got spotted out, so they decided to make sure that there's nobody aiming there. We saw the other against Eclipse, if I think it was, do like 6.3k damage from the 3 lines. So Na'Vi is going to make sure that that doesn't happen to them. So they are going to go 8-line, which is an obvious play now.
Yeah, it's a little too obvious. I don't
can't
see a trap
work.
going on.
How are they going to dig out that big old IS-4 from Applewell, though?
That's tricky. That's probably something that's a non-fact or not really an option. You could they left the TD. That's Rhino, right? Rhino's up top still, up in the hill. Yeah, he is. So Rhino's up top. He could maybe force out the IS-4 a little bit.
Could maybe give a shot towards the nuclear here as well. You can see Rhino there appearing in the distance. He's gonna be ready for it, though. I don't think so. Tanks crossing. Rhino makes a shot towards the server. Is not connected.
And at the same time, just a side note, that Slide is all the way in the south. He's in about Kilo 6, typical spot down there. And he's actually going to be watching for a flank, possibly from Nesquik or someone else. But 50B could end up flanking a little bit later, and we'll check back in with that if it becomes something relevant. But right now, Shaw and Strake, do you think that's going to end up with cap pressure, or is Applewell going to be able to hold this
They
setting?
need to find a way to dig out Applewell first. We see a lot of teams reach to the 5-line, but all of their NATO's tanks have already pulled back. So I don't think 5-line is an option, because then they'll just get overmatched. So now, how do they deal with Applewell? A rotation is almost in order, but I don't think Na'Vi is going to be falling back from this one anymore.
In A-line, far north, only A-line isn't really an option, is it? Just kind of gets you into a bad hole. I'm just kind of running through the scenarios, because IS-4 is against the wall in what Alpha 6, where Applewell currently is. That's not something you can easily angle out. You could go up mid-road, up the 5-line and get into Bravo 5 and try and use the angle there to shoot the IS-4, but that just begs for a counter push from Tornado, and it probably doesn't pan out well for Na'Vi in that case.
But here we go. Inspire is going to join the cap. Left shot is going to be behind him. And then Strike covering the back corner.
What are the...
Waiting for Applewell to peek. I mean, Strike already tried to splash there, so...
Okay. They're just trying to avoid the HE splash hitting the mouse and using that splash damage to hit Lasha, right? As opposed to, if they're not there...
Making sure Strike has a better angle, that's a possibility too. Here we go. Applewell's going to peek out. He's going to find Inspirer in just a few seconds.
Deciding that maybe this is a little trickier than...
Here we go as well, though. The rest of the Tornado lineup starting to push across the A line. The Rhino, in the meantime, took a big shell there from Diodor in that big old E3. Now the corner fight under full effect here, but look at the damage taken on the Na'Vi side. Inspirer Strike They're just bleeding so much, and Tornado putting their entire team here on this corner is really starting to work out for them, because the different angles they have, Inspire taking more, Strike taking more, Applewell delivering from that A7 position.
And now Na'Vi needs to back out. Na'Vi needs to back out. They need to kill some time, because look at this, 12T's out of there. 12T is on the way to the #1 cap or something else.
Lost too much. They've lost too much HP.
But they can play time. They can maybe play the time game. If they do that, there's a chance. Because look at the lineup. How fast is it? Can it make its way over to the west side? Or is that Bat Chat just going to come and spot and shoot things? Is that really what they're going to do? Are they going to play a Bat Chat for damage? Or a 12T, I should say specifically?
I don't feel like that's the correct choice at this moment in time. He might go behind Diador, but with the 4-shot autoloader, how much is he realistically going to do as Inspire? It takes more damage on his mouse. Surfer trading on the front, but the rest of the team's still pretty healthy. 5.4k damage left now for Na'Vi, but look at Tornado, still so healthy, so many tanks available. This is not the trade Na'Vi is looking for, because they're not winning it even. Left shot going towards that C3 position is not worth it. Up, wow, picks up Strike, and this is the beginning of the end of Na'Vi in this round.
Absolutely, as Tornado should be able to clean this one up from here. There's no reason that they can't pull victory from this one. It's already in their hands. Na'Vi doesn't really have an option. They don't have the hit points. Damage isn't going to be there much longer. I mean, you've got Rhino. There's crazy mistakes Tornado can make, but they're not playing that way. They're on point.
Now, Left shot went into the cap too late, can't cap it by himself anymore, so he's going to need team support to get into that one, and even then, they don't have the HP required to shield off. Rhino picks up Griffon though, an important kill, but they need more.
And look at this, I don't even think many of the Na'Vi tanks will be able to support the west side before Tornado tanks have shots on cap. Like, before they're able to actually stop this cap, there might still be the Na'Vi tanks in transition.
Server there, very close miss against Slide, but in the meantime, Diador delivers about 750 to Kriloid, who doesn't penetrate his shot, and Tornado look to put themselves on 5 rounds here. Left shot still playing on the cap, and Nesqui is going to reset out one for sure, and even then he needs somebody to join him. That's the reset they were looking for, and now Na'Vi with 2k HP left and no real HP on any guns as Slide goes down. Tornado, 5 straight rounds
in a row. That's one kind of comeback, and they don't need much more before this is over. How do you think Na'Vi's feeling right now? How do you think they're reacting to losses like this?
Down and out.
Really? You think they've given up by this point?
I don't think they've given up yet, but I think they're starting to get worried, especially when they're losing trade after trade after trade goes down. They're losing trades here. They're just losing the trades. The guys from Tornado are just making their shots count, and Na'Vi cannot get into position to support the others, and Server picks it up. That will make it 3-5 for Tornado.
Absolutely. Wow. I mean, this is ending up going in a lot towards the direction you were predicting, so don't feel so bad.
Well, you know, I said it.
Uh-huh. And so it became true. But Na'Vi is...
My reality has become your reality.
It will soon, though, and I'm starting to adjust, starting to realize that Na'Vi may not be able to stand up to Tornado the way I thought they would.
Not looking like it.
Yeah, and looking at
trade maps, look at this. First 5 players.
It's Server, Applewell, Diador, all of them Tornado. 4,000, 3,000, 2,000. The lowest of that, it's 1912. 1912 damage is something you'd expect from an average, solid player during a regular season, right? Like, decent. Without someone
not
getting...
great, not bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Put it like that.
But when that's your lowest of 5 people, that's good. That's a good sign. That the damage is really there.
All right, so that was Himmelsdorf, Rukil.
Yeah.
This was the fight we were talking about. Anatoly is trying to do what he can. He's obviously never going to get safe in that area of the map, which was really good.
And this one, I think what you can sum it up to is Tornado can look at that and say they overextended. Na'Vi can look at that and say, well, we got caught. We got caught, taken advantage of and used.
But now Himmelsdorf
is over.
We're moving into Mines.
Yes, Mines' favorite map. And
I just don't know. I feel like Na'Vi has the slight upper hand on this one.
Really?
Yeah, because it's very tactical. Mind games work here as well.
And a lot of slower play tends to lend itself to Na'Vi's playstyle. On defense, more so. I think on offense, I've always tended to favor approaching it more towards the Tornado perspective. But I agree. From defense side, Navi's mentality and approach to this has always been right. But they also haven't exactly reinvented the wheel of mines. They just play the straight up strategy that works. You know, there's no weird bells and whistles most of the time.
Navi's going to be defending first, so they got that going for them. They can watch how Tornado decides to approach their
They can
attack.
rally here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need the strength. I mean,
They need to get their heads back in order. They need to reset, and they need to use that to carry this back into a almost full crazy comeback.
well, let's see if they can do it though. Navi again in a tough situation once more. Let's find out what they can do. Lineups here. Randall, what do we think?
Looks like Tornado bringing that 5100 and looking at 3 mouse on
It's
either
almost
side.
a mirror matchup.
Actually, yeah, just ordered around a little differently. 3 mouse.
Well, they have one. Navi has one more mouse.
You're right. They traded out one of
Tornado has
those.
TVP.
Yeah, they got rid of the TVP. So that's a little mobility for a lot of hit points in armor. What do you favor, mouse or TVP? Mouse.
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 Yeah,
Usually.
just that HP, that armor.
Yeah, if there was no mouse on the battlefield, I'd be.
I mean, just look at the
excited,
deficit right
but-
now between the two.
16K versus 17.7, 16.4 versus 17.7. Yeah, that's a nice gap. That's a healthy amount of hit points that you can play with. Not to mention the potential damage blocked that you're going to be dealing with as well. And you can see Inspire and LaShaw going southwest, but nothing's there on the side of Tornado.
I wonder what the ultimate goal is here from Navi, to either sit like this or to push out, but it's starting to look like they just want to, they're content.
Oh yeah, they're okay with this. There's no artillery. They don't have to worry about arty angles or staying arty safe, right? They can just hold the typical positions and play some weird corner and hill games, right? Just up and down, try and pen some nice cheeks and see what happens. Now, what I'm waiting to see is you see your Inspirer, and down in the southwest there you've got, in addition to him, that's
Left shot.
LaShaw. Thank you. Do you think they have the opportunity to flank at all, or do you think that's more so just hill cover? Because like,
I mean, look at the position from Nesky. He's also holding that back area with the 5100. It's very interesting that both these teams have decided for an AMX 5100 as their territorial mines.
Actually, yeah. Let's address the elephant in the room, so to speak.
Yo, that's mean, man.
Why? Well, it's of course they didn't bring a Ferdinand, so we'll talk about that later. But why a 5100 on defense?
I'm still thinking about this one. Why no RT on attack? I mean, on defense, I can understand it. He's covering the entire back. He can shoot the AB line crossing.
But as a tier 8, does it bring anything that there's a good number of other
6
tier
shots, a little burst. What other tier 8 has this?
Okay, that's a good point as far as damage potential there. There's a reason the 5100 was as popular as it was. But, yeah, it's the same question. Why not an RD? Why not a tank destroyer maybe? Or any number of other options? What exactly are you doing when you're trying this, right? Because it's sure, maybe a 5100 is a fine tank, but what are they trying to do with it maybe? I'd like to know. Just to know what's in their heads, more so than the options that are theoretically infinite.
Well, we'll find out at one point in time.
Yeah, a little spotting. Near you spotted. And actually, I was mentioning earlier that this didn't seem like it was going to become anything, but Inspirer gets to put a few shells out. And that's going to fake out the guys from Tornado. They won't know that LaShaw is actually their passive scouting. They'll think that was Inspirer probably the whole time. And that might lend to a little aggression from Tornado that, well, looking at the layout of the battlefield, that's not going well for Tornado if they push the 1-2 line. They're going to have to play West Side Story or East Side Story.
I'm not sure yet how they're supposed to break this one.
Zero line probably. Right? Zero line do the boost?
Maybe.
I mean,
but with 3 mouses aimed there, you're gonna lose a lot of HP.
I think at this point, if you just went for it, you might actually be okay. You know, just because the timing is super odd right now. Why would you make the jump to the zero line at 6 minutes into the battle? It seems like you'd do it early, or you would just not.
Well, if they're aimed on the correct place, all they have to do is press click.
Yeah, but that might only be. Yeah, that's only Rhino.
Yeah, but what about the 2 guys behind him though? Slides?
No, Slide's been looking at mid. He's now focusing the other way, but the Anatolich also was looking. So there appear to be small windows that open and close to be able to make that jump. Just finding out what those are and when those are.
Not something that Tornado can count on, though.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, if you attack 1-2 line, like we're seeing, it looks like Tornado's getting ready to do that. If Tornado attacks the 1-2 line, they're walking into the crossfire. They're going to pay a toll, and that's going to be at least 1K, right?
More, I think.
More because the mouse, right? If they can get on target quickly enough and they don't miss their shots, they won't have time to zero completely, right? They'll be just about, and it'll be a little bit RNG to get those connections, to turn their turrets and holes around that way. But
well, here we go. And this is the move, I guess.
That's
Nuclear.
the distraction. That'll prevent the damage on the west side, yeah. That'll allow
Trying to come aggressive towards the middle road. Trying to be aggressive. Nesby in the meantime getting spotted out on 1-2 line. Kind of gives away the game just ever so slightly. Nuclear dealer still trying to sell this fake. Trying to make Na'Vi think that they're doing some middle play, but with left side in those bushes, they know. They'll know soon enough.
Yeah, they may have some sneaking suspicion. They also might not just care.
Well, here we go. Neyu starting to cross over. He already took a lot of damage, 800 to be exact. Left shot needs to be careful because he's sitting in that bush. Left shot gets struck by Netsky. Might go down towards Netsky as well. And he does. Left shot needs to be careful. He should have run much earlier.
He had 5 shots loaded, it looked like, and he didn't get to use those. That's a lot of damage that's taken off the battlefield right there. A lot of potential damage that never even got to happen.
Nice clip there though from Inspirer. Very important server. Obviously gonna punish him for that one, but Left shot really made a misplay in this one. He looks to bring down his team. Inspire now getting shot from behind him because he has nowhere to go. There was supposed to be a covering fire from Left shot, but he's dead, and so is Inspire, and now Nesqui picks up a double kill.
At this point, we have control. West side goes to our blue team, the attackers. Now it's a matter of time. Na'Vi is going to have to make a play. They need to reset tempo. They need to take control. Because if they just sit where they are, it's crossfire all day for the next 3 minutes. And then it'll be over. If they take the hill, like I'm seeing Na'Vi go for right now, I think this is the way that Na'Vi salvages this battle. What do you think?
We'll have to find out because they're 3,000 HP down. They're going to start getting shot from behind. Upwall on the hill. Nuclear Didor from the other angles. I don't feel like this is a play they can go for. But those two bad shots are going to pump shot after shot from behind. You can already see the damage Rhino has taken. He was on about 3.1 and now he's down actually. He's dead. Rhino goes down. Killord goes down. 3 tanks left standing. Tornado has dismantled this defense with great effect. And it all started with 1 bad shot staying for a little bit too long. And it resulted into 7 players being alive from Tornado and just 2 from Na'Vi.
Oh, wow. You add that one on at the end. That really brings it home. You would expect at least a few kills here or there, but an ace? Tornado over Na'Vi, an ace? You gotta be kidding me. Against defense on mines.
Defense on mines. Tornado has 10,000 HP left at this moment in time where we see teams struggle to win an attack. Na'Vi is getting obliterated by the guns from Tornado. Strike is the last one standing with a mission, with a goal, but nothing's gonna save him from this one. Tornado, they won it and they won it badly, and just look at this. It looks too easy even for them.
Yeah.
The simplest of plays completely wrecks Na'Vi, and this is match point for
It's
Tornado.
not necessarily that they were simple plays, it's that they were simple plays executed expertly. You saw the manner and the way, the nuance to the way Tornado approached the situation on the west side. Let's talk about that one first. The way that they recognized what was going on, they were being spotted, they couldn't approach, and they needed an overmatch. Now, they kind of deconstructed what was going on and said, okay, what must or what can be over here, right? And looking at that damage, wow,
yeah.
Mouse, Diodor, Server, Griffin, all picking up well over 2.5K there.
Netsby is number 8 in the 5100, doing better than 5 Na'Vi players.
Oh, that's because it's a 5100. You brought this one up earlier. It's the number of shells, solid damage. What is it? It's still 300 damage, right?
I think so, but I'm not.
Yeah, it has a weird damage in the 5100 because it's somewhere in between a lot of those other tier 8 heavies and a lot of other, they kind of pull back the damage.
All I know is that Na'Vi is currently sitting 3-6 in favor of Tornado.
You know what? That's the important part here because yeah, one more and this is over. This will be it, and Tornado will move on. This will be the first time I see Na'Vi live lose like this. I've never been at an event where that happens.
Rounds for Na'Vi brought us to 3-0.
And only
6 rounds for Tornado.
In a row, by the way. And
There is no comeback for this for Na'Vi.
No.
I said 7-5 and I was being generous apparently.
Yeah, apparently so. It's more one-sided than you have believed, and I thought this was going to be dead even. But I mean, up until
Get it right
up
once
until
more.
Himmelsdorf, I was okay. Up until Himmelsdorf, this felt safe. After Himmelsdorf, you're right. This is starting to run away.
Let's go back on track though, because I don't think Na'Vi is that one team that would be able to pull this into a tiebreaker if they play their best.
But they just aren't today. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. They started off so strong, but something happened.
Something happened. Well, that's going to be the big mystery. I'm hoping our guys can figure it out in the post-game interviews and all of that to find out what's the story with Na'Vi. Why aren't they playing up to what they were? I know there's talk always amongst players about who's slipping, who's on the rise, who's a paper tiger and who's not. Always stuff spinning around in whatever fashion you can imagine. Everyone's opinion matters, but some people say Na'Vi's slipping. Some people say they're on the way out. I don't believe this, but
Well, currently they're playing like they're in the retirement home.
yeah, I was wondering about that because that's what it looks like right now. But I haven't seen anything up till now that says that necessarily to me. I mean, there's the loss earlier, of course, but
They started off really good. They started off really well playing the mind games, but then I just feel like Tornado has the better lineup.
yeah. After the CDC fake, because that was battle number 3, right, Ruinberg. So on battle number 3, Ruinberg, you saw the CDC fake, and when that happened, that was the last battle Na'Vi had that went their way. That was it. After that, it was
Rather one-sided.
yeah, and I don't know if I want to read into that too much, but it might have been where they kind of got, where maybe they were too pleased with themselves. 3 in a row against Tornado Energy is impressive. You wouldn't expect that at all.
Yep.
So maybe that's where it is. They got a big head and then they got smashed. Now they're just trying to figure it out.
Don't forget, people at home, if you are watching, feel free to get involved with us on Facebook, Randall, with the hashtag #WhatWhenFinal 2017 and hashtag #WatchPlayWin.
Fantastic. Yeah, guys, get involved. Tweet at us. Let
Tweet
us know
at
on
us.
Facebook.
Let us know on
everything.
Facebook.
Yeah, we'll be throwing out.
Tell us what you think about the analysis desk.
Yeah, tell us. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Never mind. All right. I'm not going to go on. I'm not going to make jokes about the analyst desk. I love those guys. They're great to me.
Sure, I'll go with that one
You,
as well.
on the other hand, I know you rib them all the time. You're the one that pokes them. I'm the one that sits there and is like, hey, you want a cookie?
Yeah, but that's supposed to happen as well. But let's get back onto it. Possibly the last round from Na'Vi in this tournament as they take on the attack against Tornado Energy, who's going to be defending its match point. It's 6-3 in favor of Tornado, and Na'Vi has a mountain to climb.
Well, quite literally, they're going to climb a very small mountain. A slide on his way up in the TVP. Fires 1, reloads, and behind him is LaShaw. The way this one's playing out from Tornado on the defense side is, I wouldn't be reading into this too much, that this might just be a mid-fight where it devolves into a brawl.
Wow. Look at them. They're pushing up 1-2 line. Does Inspirer expect this, or does he fall to the Wolves? He just about gets the correct spots up both of them. Okay. This will keep him safe, at least for now.
For now, yeah. And that'll mean we'll have to see Applewell back off.
4 mouses starting to make their way towards the middle near you. Going to be joining them as well. Krilloid in the very, very far back on A2, A3. Inspirer slightly backing off from that one. Tornado.
Do you play much 416 these days?
Not really.
Yeah.
I played a bucket, the 430 version too.
Yeah, I really haven't. I really haven't felt like it fits so well in the mouse, but I don't know. It's got the heat shells right, but reliability against mouse cheeks is.
Yeah, but what else do you use against mouses?
I get you, but I'm skeptical. I always question that one.
You got spotted out by Krilloid in that 4-1-6, and now here we go, the middle rush coming in out from Tornado Energy, the first damage being taken, but in the meantime they are going down the 1-2 line with 3 tanks up on Nesquik and near you, and they are starting to do the damage. Left shot on the hill, they're gonna push past, they're gonna try and focus Rhino in his mouse, trying to do the damage towards him, but Jana Tolic seems to be the first victim for the side of Tornado Energy. Rhino getting a bouncer off of our Griffon, Anatolic trying to peek as well, but here we go, Krilloid is surrounded already in the 4-1-6, Nesquik going in over there with Wow, they're going to be removing him rather quickly from the game. Inspire trying to do what he can. Nesquik picks up that 4-1-6, and Randall can Na'Vi hold on.
I don't know about this one, dude. After losing the 416, that's the first one to drop. And from that, The autoloaders are going to get to reset, and from there, you're going to see a small lull. Tornado might give us just a second where it looks like it's going to even up, right? It might look like Navi's about to come back, but my bet is this one closes up in just 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's starting to look like that as Apoa is pushing on towards Inspirer in that light tank. Apoa still has the shots available, but Inspirer comes out and picks him up. Nuclear goes down in quick succession. Tornado Energy, they seem to be running out of steam, especially Nesquik, who run out of shells. Inspirer picks up the double kill, and that might just be the victory condition for this round. The Anatolic, though, he's dropping rather low in his mouth. Inspirer goes down. The Anatolic goes down. Nearyu picks up Inspirer somehow from the backlines, but left shot picks up Diador. Nearyu now putting shots in towards the side of Strike. It's not over just yet, but it's everything on a knife edge. And so far, Tornado is taking it better, but Griffon is taking a battering server as well. Strike holding on for dear life. Navi, Tornado, they're about 140 HP. Now 200 HP from each other.
There, that's it. 2 left. With the shot and slide, they have the high ground, but I'm not sure about that one. Oh, what's... Look at the reload.
Slide's almost reloaded just now, but can he get into the game? Can he make the play?
He's got the damage.
He got the damage, but how do they approach this one? Nearyu covering from behind. He has the HP.
To kind of be a smart bet here, very, very carefully is the only way he approaches this. He needs... I see. Maybe jump off the backside of the hill. North or south? What do you think?
Yeah, but Griffon's already watching towards that.
North,
and Nearyu's flanking around. Back.
South then.
I don't think he can get an opening into this one. He needs to find Nearyu somehow.
This right here, this cap. Is he gonna get on at all? No. If he avoided that, then he's undetected, right?
It's Nearyu.
Yeah.
Even if he drives over that, he's defending.
No, oh, good note. I'm colorblind. I miss things.
You're welcome. But Slide is just watching towards Nearyu right now.
But he's undetected in the backfield. They don't know he's there, right? There hasn't been spotting so far as I saw from him all the way up back in the north in like Charlie 4. I don't think he's been really spotted since then. Okay, now he's lit. If he'd been able to stay hidden for a little longer, I think maybe you would have seen Navi guys get a little careless in that area. Maybe give him the opportunity to get that kill. But otherwise, LaShaw might be able to get this mouse shot.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah,
just about misses it as Server when the spotted left shot tried to make the blind shot. He did not get the connection he was looking for. Slide ever so slightly edging forward, trying to make a difference, trying to make a play. This man already on 3.6k damage, trying to carry his team towards the next round, the next map even. You know, how do they go for this one? You see Tornado just sticking together.
There we go, near you. Look at him. He's there covering LaShaw. What you do is you use Griffin to kind of bait out a little bit.
He might get a shot here on towards
just
left shot.
Yeah, get him back up.
Ever so slightly.
Have him back up just.
Does he take this? Does he take the shot on towards left shot? He's looking for it. He takes it. It doesn't go through. The second one doesn't go through either. The third one neither. Near you.
Nothing.
Tried the clip. Were to try. But is this the moment Navi tries something knowing he's on reload?
I don't think so. I think it's still too risky. Look, 788, 679, that's maybe low roll save you, right? With 2 shells connecting, maybe. And what do you get out of your 2 shells? You might bounce, right? Very reasonably, you could bounce with Server. Server's going to take 2-3 shells before he goes down.
Look at this. They get it together. Don't slide and left shot.
Okay.
Both connect the shot and take down Server. The mistake coming out from Tornado.
It's that split second where they recognize the weakness, jumped right on it.
This brings it back to because Griffon, he's only on 273 HP himself in that mouse, and Slide has the potential to make this happen. He's that kind of player. He's the kind of man who's always been there at every single event. And if anybody can do this for his team, it should be Slide. And
they've got time. They've got time. 3 minutes and 40 seconds. That's plenty. That's plenty. That's absolutely. That's a minute and a half more than Slide and LaShaw needs to bring this one back.
On the south side here, clean. No damage taken by him. Already on 3.8k damage. Slide. Near you in the meantime,
of this battle.
Flanking to the south side once more.
Is he? No, he'll have to avoid the cap. Make sure not to alert anyone. And look at this. I'm getting a little deja vu in our lower left. TVP near you, moving back around so that he's looking from the south to the north at the mid hill.
The timing here is everything. As soon as Slide makes his first shot, near you will rush on towards that hill to take down left shot.
Yeah,
he's already going right now. Actually,
this might turn into
near you. He knows he's not spotted. He knows Slide's flanking around. This is the moment.
Griffin might need to, wake up here for a second, figure out what's going on. He starts to turn.
Near you. Left shot needs to go right now. Niryu's coming behind him. Here we go. The first shot from Niryu comes out. The second one as well. He's going to take out our left shot cleanly. Niryu does it. A triple kill for him. And Slide now has to play against Griffon. Pick him up. And they know where he's coming from. This is disastrous from Na'Vi. Griffon is holding the angle. He needs to get the shot. Slide picks out. Griffon gets the shot. Slide picks it up. But he only has 2 shots available. Niryu, he's going to come up and over. He's going to finish it right here, right now. And it should be Tornado. Slide needs to run. There we go. Niryu, multi-kill. And it is Tornado to put themselves in the semi-finals.
Defeating Na'Vi. This was the match that should have been our finals. And just as the fates have it, it happens today.
This is the quarter-finals.
Yes. This is crazy. And look at them. They deserve this. That is a straight 7. Straight 7 battles. Back to back. Uninterrupted.
What a
Na'Vi,
play from Niryu. Doesn't get spotted, decides to drive in, up and behind left shot. The timing is everything.
So many tiny details, so many tiny leaps of faith. You know, just taking the tiny data points and just stringing them together and getting it right. They had so many reasons not to get this right. Tornado had every and Na'Vi had every reason to be able to come back, but no, not today. Not against a team like this. Tornado's they're on fire. They look amazing.